Hi, so buddies, welcome again to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know this is a long overdue tutorial that was requested on YouTube, sorry, on TikTok, but I'm glad I'm finally able to put it out here. In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to cut and sew the displayed asymmetrical free gown that you can see on your screen. And these are the measurements that you'll be needing as well. So for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll be needing the 6 yards of fabric for bust 32 to 45 inches. For anyone that is above this bust 32 to 45 inches, you'll be definitely needing more than 6 yards of fabric. So we also have a clearer view of what we are trying to cut out to bring the fabric to the floor. And the length of the gown that we are working with is 62, and the length of the Ankara that we have is 45. So it is obviously not going to work for us. So now this is where the trick is. You take the Ankara fabric, you open it up like this. Then you want to take you put it like this. One, then you fold back, then you fold again into four. Let me do this again. This is your Ankara fabric. The part that is length 45. Take it, fold it into two. What I have just folded into two, take it again and fold into four, so that this way we'll be able to cut the length 60 inches that we want to use, and to also cut the front and the back together. So you are having 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're having 4 pieces folded this way. So you want to bring it, so you want to make sure that at the length, so at this point you want to make sure that this length, you want to cut your length 60. So don't forget that we'll be needing allowance for that. So you will be needing to add allowance to that 60 inches. So I'll be adding extra 2 inches allowance. So I'll measure the 62 inches. We are done cutting our length 60 this way. So let's do the folding that I said earlier. Let's do that again. So you fold this into two and now fold again. So this way you are having 4 folded. So this will be our starting line. This point here will be our starting line. It will serve as a shoulder line. So now we'll start taking our measurement from the shoulder to the bust point of this client I'm working with is 9 inches. So you mark it 9 inches. The shoulder to waist of this person, of this client, is 14. You mark it here. 14. Then the waist to hip of this client we are working with is 7. And while you are doing these measurement markings, make sure that all the folded edges are facing you. The part that is like this, that is opened up like this, make sure that it is towards the other hand. But this part here, that will serve as your center front or your center back. So make sure that the folded edges that are not cut out are facing you. They'll be the one to serve as your center front and center back. So now the back measurement of this client is 14 inches. So 14 divided by 2 will give us 7. So we'll mark our 7 here. At that 7 that we had marked, we'll come down by 1 inch to serve as a shoulder slope. Then we'll go in by, for the neck width that I want to work with is 3 inches. Because of the neckline that we want to do, so let's just still mark 3 inches here as well as neck depth. So you mark it at this end. You draw it out nicely. So you connect from this point to this point that you had marked as a shoulder slope. So now the chest line of this client is 7 inches. And if you don't know how to get your chest line, you can just do the regular measurement of bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Again, bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches will give us 7 here. So the difference here, 1 inch, is just what I just marked here again. So I can get a straight line. So from this point, that is the back length. You want to connect it straight down, 7 inches. Or you can just mark 7 inches. That is what you have gotten here, the back measurement. You can just replace it here, here, and just draw a straight line from your shoulder slope down here. So that's that. Then you want to find the midpoint between these two lines from here to here. You want to find the midpoint, and it is at 7 inches. So half of 7 inches is 3.5. Then you want to come in by half an inch so that you can be able to get your armhole. Just draw it here. The bust measurement that you are working with for this client is at 33 inches. So 33, you are dividing it by 4. Whatever you get, you place it on your chest line. So this is what we have gotten. We'll put it here. And then you complete the armhole line. So now that we have drawn out our armhole, we'll move to the next stage. So the waist of this client that we are working with is 26 inches. So 26, but that 26 inches, we will not be using the actual 26 inches because we want the waist area to be snatched. So from whatever waist that your client is, you subtract 6 inches. So the client I'm working with here is 26. So 26 minus 6 inches is 20. Just work with it. Whatever your client waist is, subtract 5 inches. Subtract 6 inches. This is more or less like a standard. You can also use 5 too if you want, but I'm using 6 inches so that the waist will be properly snatched by the time we'll be using the loops by the side. So that 20 that we have gotten as our new waistline will be divided into 4, and that is 5. Then the hip measurement will remain the same. The hip measurement for this client is at 36 inches. So 36 divided by 4, 36 divided by 4 will give us 9. So you mark the line here, the 9 here, and then you connect these lines that you have just gotten. So we want to move down to the total length. We want to draw out our total length from up down to the total length that we want to work with. Remember that we said is at 60 inches, but we want to add allowance there. So we just use the end of this fabric. We just use the end of this fabric as our total length and allowance. So the measurement that you have from your hip here, just draw it down. So to make it easier, you can measure what you have here, 9, put it somewhere around here, 9, the same thing, another 9, so you'll be able to draw it up. So you just want to like blend in your sharp corners. So that's about that. So like I said in the beginning that this is something that can work for both 32 to 45. So now you know that after we have folded this thing into 4, the total length that we have here is 11 inches. That's just 11 inches. So that means the maximum bust line that you can use to cut this part with this method is 45 inches. Like that is the maximum bust measurement that you can use. Now this style that we want to do, it doesn't really need much of a sewing allowance. What you need is just stitching allowance. If you want to add sewing allowance, is totally fine, but we really actually do not need it. But I'll just be adding half an inch on all this side to serve as my stitching allowance. So let's remember that the neckline that we are having is a symmetrical neckline, the symmetrical neckline. So this is how we'll get it from the midpoint that we came in for the armhole. This point here, that is the half of this show this armhole. From that line, you want to come up here by half an inch. So that will be the beginning of your strap, the asymmetrical neckline. So from there, you can just use the remaining length of fabric that you have here, just draw out a straight line. Now, determine on how wide you want your strap to be. Here, I want to use 2 inches. So from this line here, I'm coming down by 2 inches and then also draw out a straight line. And so it is going to be like this. Let's pay attention to how I want to cut out this part. So you can see that I start cutting out this particular piece right from the chest line. So that's why I try to cut out, so it's not confusing. So now this point you can cut out this part. So now you want to open it up. You have opened it up. What you want to do now is from this point here, from the middle, this is our middle point here. You want to connect in a form of this form, like this. Please align your fabrics properly. You want to try it out like this. So and you want to blend it this way. So your asymmetrical neckline is like this. You are cutting it out like this. Like so, but before you cut it out, you will use this your marking here to cut out this other part. And this is how you do it. Make sure that you are stopping at this line that you have cut. You are cutting the 4 pieces together. At this point, you are cutting the 4 pieces together, following the chalk markings. So you stop at this line, like this particular line here. You stop again after you have folded into 4. This other markings, the shoulder slope marking and the armhole that you have marked, cut it following the chalk that you have drawn out, and then you make sure that you are stopping at where your strap started. This is the point that the strap started. Stop there. So once you stop there, you also want to come down, just to that we still have this point here. These 2 parts are where the strap is. So once you stop here, jump back to this part and then you cut this out. So now that you have cut it, now lift up this part. Lift up this part, the part that has the strap that we have the chalk markings on. Lift it up and cut a straight line. I really hope you understand what I'm trying to do. You're supposed to add allowance, but I forgot to add mine. So when you're cutting out yours, make sure that you are cutting allowance. So now that you have cut out your strap, split this part. So you have your strap looking like this. So the remaining part, you want to curve it. You want to curve it to meet the part that you have cut out. And just like that, you have your pattern looking like this. And then don't forget these markings that you have here before for the symmetrical neckline. Just so just like that, you have your asymmetrical neckline looking this way. So you have cut the front and the back together at this point. After you have cut out that part of the dress, whatever is remaining out of your Ankara fabric, out of the 6 yards, you want to have them like this. You want to fold it into two. You want to go to the end that is not folded. Sorry, that is not opened like this. The end that is not opened like this. You want to have it this way. That you are having it this way. Make sure that it's properly aligned. Once you have your flare folded this way, you want to take one piece of what you have cut out and you want to measure from this line, from this armhole here down to the length, because that's where your flare joining will start from. So you want to measure from here. You want to measure from here like this, following the curve and the whole thing down to the total length. Here I'm having it as at 55 inches. So the 55 inches now will be the length of the flare that we want to cut out now. Now from this upper part here, the curve that you want to have here is going to be at 0.75. This is the standard, so it will serve as your stitching allowance as well. So just mark the 0.75, which is at this point here, or we can just do 1 inch. Let's do 1 inch. So try to curve it 1 inch. Now from that way that 1 inch started, you will start drawing out your flare length of 55 inches, just as we had done, um just as we had measured out, sorry. So like this, measure out your 55 inches. The 55 inches is here. Place your tape at the beginning, draw the 55 inches. 55 inches. 55 inches. So when you're done drawing out your flare, just want to here. So you have it looking like this. So this is just like a normal flare that you usually do draw for your peplon or anything like that. So you see that at this point here we are having 4 pieces, but at this point here we're having just 2 pieces. So this is how, just cut out this first. So the remaining fabric from here, you will join it here to complete this part. Let me just show you. Go for the stroke picture. I'm just looking at this chalk line is visible enough in the camera. Yeah. Then also I did that I cut out just also cut it out like this. So now this part that is remaining, just join fabric together from here. That will allow you to cut. Just try to overlap it like by half an inch, so it will be like a stitching allowance when you're ready to join it. Make sure that just like as I did here, overlap it by half an inch so that it will serve as the stitching allowance for that end. Now we have flare for both sides. This is so you just want to split this other side so that it will be separated. This is what the flare looks like. It's a really full flare gown. So this is what it is looking like. This part, these curved edges are that is the lower part for the fullness of the gown. This point here is where you will join to the armhole. Here you are sewing straight down to the length of the gown. Here too you are sewing straight down to the gown. So it is going to be like this by the time you are done cutting yours. This is what you'd have. I'll be having 2 pieces of this. I forgot to mention that we'll be needing a bit of lining at the beginning of the video, just so that we will use it to turn the necklines and all of this that we have here. So the lining is not a full lining. You can just top it somewhere around here. So the cloth does not need a full lining, but if you feel like you want to have a full lining, it's totally dependent on you. But I'm just going to be stopping my own just somewhere like somewhere here. I've gone ahead to cut out these 4 pieces of strap that will serve as a sleeve that will be attaching to the main bodice of the dress. Each strap is about 22 inches long, and then the wideness is 2 inches. Remember that was where we cut out when we were trying to cut out our main bodice. So we'll proceed. I want to show you how we'll proceed to join this strap to the fabric. This is one piece of the fabric. We just join it at this point that I'm pinning. We join it straight down. Do the same for the second piece. I'll join it so that I will proceed to also add strap to that one as well. So this is the front. This is the front. You make sure that you are placing it this way. So the right side facing right side. Make sure that when you are cutting your own strap as well, the part that you'll be tying as the sleeve is actually the fashion fabric and not a lining. So I've gone ahead to join the strap to this part. So I'm just going to pick up my lining that matches, and then I will use it to turn it. So these are the points I'm turning this armhole, I'm turning this leg neckline, so, and I'm also turning these straps as well. So by the time we are done with the tutorial, you will understand why we are using the same fashion fabric as the lining for the strap. So I will do the same thing for the other piece as well. I have gone ahead to use the lining to turn the fabric, and this is what it look like. This is what the front is looking like after joining the strap, and then this is what the back is looking like. I'm still going to press down this part though. So this is what it's looking like at the back and then at the front. So now what I want to do is to mark the point where I want to put the corset loops. And before then, let me show you this. I've gone ahead to cut out the straps that will serve as the corset loops, and each is about 3 inches long. So you can just go ahead and cut. You probably need about 26 to 30 pieces of this, depending on um how much you want the corset loops to be. So now you go ahead to mark the points where you want to put your corset loops. Here I'm just going to start by this end. This is where I said you start the joining of your flare, this armhole part, this edge here. So just keep half an inch, just keep by half an inch. So your first loop will be at this half an inch you marked, and it now depends on the spacing you want. For this particular one, I want to work with 1.5 inches spacing. So from here, this is one loop. Second one will be at this 1.5. The third one will be at this another 1.5. The same thing at this point, 1.5. The same thing as well, 1.5. So now at this point you have already gotten to the waist, so you want to make sure that this is the waistline here. So this is where the next 1.5 inch, so I want to stop 1 more inch here and mark the next 1.5. So that will be the last of the loop. It's going to start from here and stop here. So you can just make sure that whatever you are marking, at least there is 2 inches below your waistline, so that the waist will be more defined. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same at this other part, and also do the same at the other bodies as well. Now that I'm done chalking out the places I want to put the corset loop, this is one of them. I'm just going to fold it like this. I'll fold it like this. Then this part that is opened, I'm going to place it here. So this is my first chalk marking. Also by half an inch, do the next one, half an inch, do the next one, half an inch, half an inch, half an inch. So whatever you do by this side, you do by this side as well. Then you also repeat the same thing at the second bodies. I'm done joining the loops by this end and also by this end on both sides. I've also done the same thing. I've also done the same thing for the second piece as well. This is the second piece. I'm gonna end up do the same thing. So now I want to join the shoulders together, just this part here, this points. I'm going to go ahead and just join it together. So now that I'm done joining the shoulder, I'll take my flare, the flare that we had cut earlier. I've already gone ahead to aim the beginning. This is the beginning point, that one of that 0.7, or sorry, of that 1 inch that we cut out earlier at the beginning of the flare. This is it. I've gone ahead to aim it. Now we will join the flare by the sides, and remember I said that it is starting by the armhole. So make sure that you are having this face like this, face this way. It is the right side, we face the right side, right side facing right side. Just go ahead and pin it. So this point, we are going to sew it straight down to the full length of the gown. And then this other part as well, you also want to make it face each other, right side facing right side, this way. The beginning of the flare, let it touch the beginning of this armhole. So like this, I'm just trying to pin down. Then you also go ahead and sew straight down to the end. So by the time you are done joining, this is what this part should look like. At the end of the day, this is what I have after joining both flares by the sides. This is what yours should be looking like at this point. And this part as well, this is what it should be looking like. This is the flare joined on both sides, and this your loop should be popping out like this. So now that we are done joining the main bodice, I went ahead to cut this straight strap. It's about 40 inches long. Yours does not have to be this tiny. If you do not have fabric left, pieces of fabric remaining, you can just get bias so that it will be like your corset rope. So what I want to do now is to pass this rope through this, bring it out here. Let me just practicalize it. When you are doing your own rope, you can make it longer than this. So this is what we are doing. We are passing through like this, just like how you lace your corset, how you lace your shoelace, just like so. That is what we are doing here. When you have equal hands, now just go ahead and do like this. When you're done, so at the end of the day, this is what you should have by this hand. So you can just try to secure this part so that the rope does not pull out. So what you have here, make sure that you do that the other part too. So this is what the cloth is looking like, how I've put it on. This is the length, this is the full length, this is what the sides is looking like, this pattern. So this is also what it's looking like. Now at this point I have not snatched it, so just from the end of your loop here, that was that you tied, just want to pull it down like this. Just pull it, and then and just go ahead and tie. You know, at the beginning I said that when we are done you would see why the strap should all be the same fabric, because see, if it were to be black lining or any other lining that you use at this point, it will not match with your fashion fabric. You just make sure that for the lining of your strap, just make sure that you are using the same fabric that you are using to sew, which is your fashion fabric. So this is what this neckline is looking like, and then you can pull this more depending on how tight you want it to be. So this is how I want this one to be. Then just go ahead and secure the hands here and secure it here. So at the end of the day, this is what we have. You just go ahead and hem the lower part of the gown, and then also weave the insides if you want to. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So please, if you find this tutorial helpful, please do not forget to subscribe, drop a comment, click on the like button, and also turn on your notification bell. Thank you.